Our mind is like the garden. It's what are we reading? What are we planting in our mind? And it just dawned on me that, wow, we are really at that point where we are so scared
that we are even scared to speak.
We're even scared to speak. And so if we as a people are scared to speak, then we don't have anything. Because even now, we're making things happen without us feeling like we are ready.
Yeah. Guy mentioned something that he doesn't have the concept of fatigue in his head. How do you call fatigue a concept?
Nah, I get it. I'll tell you something about fear, right? Because a lot of the reasons why people don't do things during the day or during the week or in the month is because they're scared. When I see a situation that looks hard, that first initial shock, I'm expecting it. Welcome everybody, episode 3 of this week with Reagan and Julian. Thank you to everybody that's been watching our episodes so far. We're back again, and hopefully this conversation is going to be very insightful. You can learn a lot, and we can also learn a lot from our conversations.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome back, bro.
Yeah, welcome. It's been a while we shot.
It's been a while. It's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, people have been on my neck. When is the next episode? And I was telling them the schedule, but then, I mean, we're finally here. Today, I want us to talk about dreams, challenges. Mm-hmm. But then between those two, I think one thing that's common is mindset. Because it's people, you just said something before we started shooting that if we make it, no one should come and say we're lucky.
Yes.
It's not just luck. On the outside, it looks like it's all, rosy and all that, but I feel like there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes, right? I met one business owner the last time, and he was saying the same thing, that people see successful people in their fields and think that, oh, it's easy.
Yeah, I saw this quote the other day. It was Jeff Bezos, and he said that you could be doing business for 5 years. Mm-hmm. In the 4 years is like very difficult, and in the 5th year, everything, your whole life completely changes.
True.
And I think that's literally what it is. I think we're being challenged every single day. It's so hard to do this, and maybe we make it look like it's so easy. But the challenge is on a day-to-day. But I think in terms of mindset, you mentioned about mindset. Yeah. I think we have to build this mindset or this character that allows us to block off all the things that hit us. And the more you build that character, I think the easier it looks on the outside.
Yeah, that's true.
But if people were to see what was going on behind the scenes,
bro, it's not that easy. I want to share stories. So I think I shared it on one of the videos I released this week about when I wanted to start putting out videos and all that. Yeah. There was so many parts I didn't share. So let me just get into it. So I went to campus 2018. Back then, I'm going to mention figures. Back then, my mother was giving me between like 50 to like 200 cedis a month.
A month?
That was wild.
Mad.
Right.
That's cool. Can I buy cocoa?
Oh, today it can.
Today, cool.
I mean, today, 50 cedi can buy cocoa, yeah.
A month?
So, yeah, it was that serious. And I remember, I used to stay on campus. I used to eat rice, shito, almost every single day, or Indomie shito. I had a friend, right, Odma. He comes and like, you cry every time. I did the zip.
But 50 cedis a month, I don't even think you can afford that. Rice and shito.
No, I bring it from home. So the 50 cedi was pocket money. Okay. So, like, that's how much things are difficult. So, at the point, I was like, oh, I want to start, working on that. I think I shared this on our previous episode. So, I went to look for the sales job, started betting, was trying to look for the fraud and all that. But then I started designing and everything. And when I started design, I remember the very first job I got, I was being paid $100. And I think at that time, $100 was like 600, 700 cedis.
Wow.
That time it was 1 to 6 or 1 to 7. But then before even getting that job, what happened was I took this course. I was doing graphic design with a friend, and we were being paid like 35 cedis for a flyer and all that. All these were little money. But then at that point, I was not really looking at the amount, but then I was trying to build myself for something.
For sure.
Right? For sure. So we did graphic design for like 3 months, 4 months. Then I discovered UI UX. I got into that, and that was when I shared a story about how I wanted to lock in, so I had to break up with a girl and all that. Yeah.
Shout out to that girl.
It's okay.
You made all of this happen.
So I did that, took the course. 1 week later, I got a job, which was paying around 700 cedis and all that. Now, this was on campus. When I come home, my setup, I'll probably show the picture. There was one little table with my chair and my books and this HP laptop that my dad got me that could barely run anything. Like when I open Figma, it'll take about 20 minutes to load.
Wow.
And I'm not even joking.
Wow. No.
It was that serious that I had a gig with a guy on Facebook back then, William, shout out to him. That guy helped me a lot. And we were on the call, I shared my screen, I was about to show the project. And for like 20 minutes, we had to be chit-chatting because this screen was still loaded, you understand? Like, all these things were about. So he saw it, and then he was coming to Ghana December that year. I was like, oh, what do you want? I was like, oh, anything. Foolish me. But fortunately, when he came, he brought me a Mac. That was my very first MacBook. Like
a gift.
Yeah.
Free gift.
He finished and he paid me an extra $1,000.
Wow, amazing.
Understand? But then all these times, there were so many things that were happening behind the scenes. Like, people didn't know my setup. I used to shoot with Michael. We literally had to leave my house, go to the house opposite mine. Mike, do you remember? Opposite mine, to go and beg them that, we want to use their office space to shoot.
Wow.
Use their office space to shoot. Use my phone as a microphone. So there were so many things that were happening behind the scenes. And like we were saying, people don't see that part. All people will see is, Raygan will post a video. Raygan will post a video, but there were so many things. Sometimes I had to stay till like 3 a.m. to shoot, even at home. Because during the day, we had tenants that would be making noise and all that. And this is interesting. I don't know if you ever heard of MTN Midnight Bundle.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Now, it's not really a thing because internet, I don't know, I feel like internet has become cheap. But back then, you could not afford internet so much. So, like, that's what I had to. Yeah. So I used to work actively between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m. I'll load all my Figma pages so that during the day, I don't have to connect to the internet to be able to design. This was what was happening back then. But I feel like what that was doing was because being able to stay up from 12 to 5 a.m., go to bed like 7 a.m., wake up like 11, come and continue work, was building me for something.
I think that it's funny, I'm listening to this, right? And like, we have certain things in common because like, you're working and you're making it happen even when you're not ready, right? Even when things are not how you want them to be. And even now, it's levels, right? Because even now, we're making things happen without us feeling like we are ready.
Yeah.
And I feel like that feeling of not being ready, but pushing and making it happen anyway, I feel like that's just the game. I think it's always going to be like this, but on different levels.
Yeah.
And so when I hear people, I often hear people and they're like, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that, so I can't start, I can't do this. What they're telling me is that they don't have the mentality of just getting started and using what you have now to do something. You know, we always have something like now. Yeah. God has always given us something to use today to get us to that next level. Yeah. And like, even if it's just our voice or just how, like, who we are or the people around us, like, that's enough to get us to that next level. Yeah. And that next level might just be to get a new laptop.
Yeah.
Or it just might be to be able to get and work at the place across the road. You use your mouth to go there and speak to them. You know, I think when you understand that, all of a sudden you start to be more powerful. Because even with me, like, I don't ever look in my bank account and think that's how much money I have. I think if you look in your bank account and you think that's how much money you have, I think you've got this whole thing wrong.
Yeah.
You know? So when I look in my bank account, I see a figure, but that's not the figure that I have.
Yeah.
I start to think about what's around me and what God has given me to think of more. And as I think of more and I do more, the figure in the bank account increases. Or if the figure doesn't increase, I get things done anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I feel you.
So what the money can buy, I get.
You get it.
Just how you got that laptop.
Without spending a dime.
It was a free gift.
Yeah.
A free gift. You could never have worked long enough to get that laptop. Somebody gave it to you.
Trust me. There was no way I was going making $100 a month. It took a while. Because that was like $1,000 back then.
So it's a mindset. It's a mindset.
But I want to ask you though, because I mean, we've been trying to shoot for a couple of times now, but we've not been able to do that. Your schedule is tight, right? And one thing I've come to realize is being able to even get through each and every single day of work is a challenge, right? You must have been built for that. What has it been like in your journey as an entrepreneur? Like, what was like some of the challenges? Maybe a story, something that, you know, was punching you.
Do you know what? It's this entrepreneurial journey, I won't even call it an entrepreneur. It started with my football career, you know, and if anybody has been any type of athlete, you know the type of discipline and dedication it takes to just be fit, right? So just be fit, before you even get onto the pitch, just to be fit is a hustle. And then like people think we are competing against the other team, but you're first competing against your teammates, right? To even get the position to even play.
Yeah, that's a competition.
The game starts in training, you know? So first I'm competing to get fit, then I'm competing against the other players to actually be on the pitch.
Yeah.
Then when I get on the pitch, I'm competing against the other team.
Yeah.
Then when we get on the pitch competing against the other team, we're actually competing against everybody in the league. You know, so it's like you have to have this level of dedication every single day, and it doesn't switch off.
Yeah.
So I think for me, because I've been brought up in those type of, I don't know, those type of conditions, this doesn't feel like work to me. This doesn't feel like work. I remember I joined the under 17 camp in Pram Pram. We was in Pram Pram for 4 months, training. We used to go on the road every day and run. After we go on the road, we'll come back and run. There was some hills. We used to run up and down the hills. I felt like I was gonna die, right?
But here you are.
But here I am. But like putting my body through all of that, honestly, this doesn't feel like work. And I'll tell you something about fear, right? Let's talk about fear for a second. Because a lot of the reasons why people don't do things during the day or during the week or in the month is because they're scared.
Yeah.
They're scared of if it doesn't turn out well, or they're scared of, if it gets accepted or not. But the thing about fear is like, okay, I'll give you an example. Fear is like when you're going to bath in the morning, and I know this is weird, but when you're going to bath in the morning and the water's cold, the first water that you put on you, you know, it's freezing.
Yeah.
It's freezing.
But when you pour it on you,
but then the second one
feels okay.
Yeah. The temperature was exactly the same as the first one, but your body got over that initial shock of the water being so cold that the next time you were actually prepared for it. Your mind was prepared for the water, the same temperature
nothing
being
changed.
Nothing changed, but your mind and your body was prepared for it.
Yeah,
that's how I see fear. When I see a situation that looks hard, that first initial shock, I'm expecting it.
Yeah,
I'm expecting it right from the beginning. Then when I go through that shock, because that shock is almost always there when you're doing something new.
Yeah.
After that, I'm expecting things to be easier, and they always are, because that's what it is. There's nothing more or nothing less than what this fear thing is. It's an initial shock because something is new. Then after that shock, behind that door, it's fine. You get on with it.
Yeah, I think it's, I never thought of it that way. I relate so much because looking at this whole video things we're putting, I think before I started, you know, sometimes, for example, before we shoot, there's that fear.
Right.
What are you going to talk about? How are you going to look on camera? How are people going to take this video? For example, the video I put out on Monday about execution, right? When I was editing it, I'm like, bro, it's cliche. Everybody knows they need to start. You're not the first to come and tell them. Bro, when I was reading the comments, I was like, wow.
Somebody's waiting for you
to tell them
that.
Yeah. When I was reading the comments, I was so surprised. Somebody was like, oh, they're going to get into Forex. They're going to start their business. I'm like, okay. When I was editing the video, the thing, aside the fact that I felt it was cliche, I felt like the setting was not so good and all that. I had that fear of people are not going to appreciate the video like the way I wanted it to be. Right? But then I put it out there, and it was like the second performing video among my last 10 release.
Wow.
And that's crazy. Wow. It's the same thing, starting unscripted, like you're saying. The first few videos we put out there was that fear of criticism. How are people going to take it? What is going to be the feedback? And trust me, there was that. I remember like some of her first release, somebody came to the text me in my DM. The lighting was bad, right into, and sometimes those things pierce my soul because you know that thing where you put your all,
and then someone says the lighting is off, bro.
You're like, you could have used, some backlight, and I'm like, bro, in my head, I'm like, bro, you think I have the money? You understand? But then moving forward, even though I was getting, some of those feedback from time to time, I realized that these people were just trying to help me improve, and it was not like a shit on my work inputs.
Yeah, they're your customers. And if they're telling you that they want the light to be better,
you need to serve them.
You need to serve them.
Yeah,
you need to serve them.
But I feel like the topic of fears is a serious thing. But also, I was listening to a podcast, one of this morning, I think last 2 days or so, and the guy mentioned something that he doesn't have the concept of fatigue in his head. And it was like, how can you say that? How do you call fatigue a concept?
I get it.
Yeah. I also, like, after listening to it, I was like, nah, this is true. Because even though we are talking about fear, sometimes I feel like it does not exist.
Doesn't exist.
It's all in your head.
I can really attest to that. You know, sometimes, like, if you're doing like long running or jogging or whatever, sometimes you're not tired. It's your mind is telling you that you're tired.
Yeah.
You're not actually tired.
Yeah.
It's just your mind is saying stop. There's a voice, you know, there's a voice that's like, bro, stop running, stop running.
You're going to get tired.
You're going to get tired, stop running. What are you doing? There's that voice in your head, but you're not actually tired, you know? I think it's funny, I just started doing a live stream. I did a live stream last week, first ever live stream. And the questions and the things that people were saying, I was like, wow, like, we are in Ghana and we need to build our mentality.
That's the biggest.
Somebody asked me, how do I know when to speak? And I was like, wow, like, I never actually thought of that. But somebody asked, how do I know when to speak? And it just dawned on me that, wow, we are really at that point where we are so scared.
That we are even scared to speak.
We're even scared to speak. And that's how you get everything. Everything was built by somebody speaking and saying, I want to build this orange chair, or I'm going to build this light. And so if we as a people are scared to speak, then we don't have anything. We don't have anything. So I think, like, I personally, I'm on a journey to build the mentality of other people. Yeah. And I think you are on that journey too, whether you've said it out loud or not. By doing all of this, what you're actually doing is building the mentality of the viewers. Yeah. They need you to put this out there. And viewers, there's other people who need you to put your content out there.
Exactly.
And so if you don't do it, think about it, there's 32 or maybe 36 million people in Ghana right now. Reagan can't have enough views to serve everybody, right? Everybody might watch him, but who's going to take in that content and listen to it?
Who's going to relate to it?
We need more people speaking, more people inspiring, everybody inspiring their small community of people and just inspiring everybody and changing their mindsets. So I think, people need to go out there. I'm not saying everybody needs to do a podcast.
No.
But you need to go out there and build whatever you're trying to build. Yeah. You know? On
the topic of Turkey, you just reminded me, my mother texted me the day I posted my first payout from YouTube.
I saw that, man. Congrats.
Thank you, bro. Okay, never mind. So she texted me.
So where's the money?
I had so many people asking me that. People say we're going to buy a car and all that. Don't worry, I'll let you guys know the amount sometime in the future.
Do you know what? When you posted that, right? I don't even know what the amount was. In my mind, I thought the amount might have been even $10.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't about the amount.
Exactly. Right? That's the thing.
It was the fact that I got the payout.
Yeah. And it shows that what I'm trying to do is working.
Yes.
Exactly.
So the amount could have been $10, right? And it probably was quite low, right? But the fact that you've got that payout is proof that what you're doing works. Now it's just about us multiplying what we do, stepping it up, leveling it up, and making sure that amount grows and grows and grows.
Yes. Then we can buy the car, you guys.
Then we can buy the car. I saw that comment as well.
My mother texted me, she was like, I don't remember when I was in school, because back in school, you know, they do report card and write comment and all that. Every time there was talkative there. Every time there was talkative. She was like, do I remember? And I'm like, yeah. She was like, you see now, the talking is paying. And I'm like, yeah. I didn't think about it, but I was like, yeah, that's cool. Just to add to the guy that said when to speak. I feel like our mouth is so powerful. Like, a lot of people don't know that. Like, it's so powerful in the sense that it can cause you negative and it can cause you positive. Because if you pick somebody like Coach Short in here, there's the edits, there's everything he's doing. But aside of everything that is paying his bills now is his mouth.
His mouth.
For the last few years, it just comes on there, talk, react. That is it. Absolutely. So to ask when to speak is because even if you go for an event, even networking, you need to know how to speak. Yeah.
But the source of our words is our mind. People, we need to be working on our mind. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you consuming? Yeah. You need to be consuming hours of something. You know, our mind is like a garden. And if there's a garden, some gardens are beautiful. They've got flowers everywhere. It's nice, right? And other gardens have just got weeds and things because nobody has actually cultivated the gardens. Our mind is like the garden. It's what are we reading? What are we planting in our mind? That garden will grow whether we like it or not, that garden is going to grow. And you can just tell the type of things that you say, you can just tell what somebody's been consuming.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's very true. And I think we mentioned this in one of our podcasts.
I think we did.
I think the first or second one. And so now it all comes down to what you're consuming. But another thing I also realized, you don't know you've consumed so much till you start speaking.
Yes.
And you don't know sorry to say, but you don't know the foolish things you'll be consuming until you start speaking. Because sometimes you finish talking, you're like, whoa, did I really say that?
Absolutely.
So the quality of what you're saying depends on the quality of what you're consuming.
Do you know what? There's times when like I've heard so many different sermons. I'm listening to like Miles Monroe, or I'm listening to Dr. Mensa Otabil, and then like I'm in a situation in real life, and I hear the sermon, or I hear a piece of the sermon, and then it tells me to go and say this. Yeah, and I'm like, wow, like it's working.
Yeah.
So then what I say is based off what I've just heard in that sermon. So I hear their voice, you know? And that's when you know you've really been consuming a lot of something. Yeah. But when you don't hear those things, you come into real life situations and you don't know what to do. Or you don't know what to say.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
That's true.
So this is powerful stuff. Mindset.
Yeah, mindset. I want to add something to what you were saying about the number of people in Ghana and the fact that Reagan will not be able to reach every single person. Recently, right, I watched a podcast with Mr. Beast and I was blown away with Stephen Bartlett. He said that Mr. Beast is the biggest YouTuber, that's one. He has the highest views, that's two. The world population is around 8 billion and his viewership is between 2 to 3% of the world population.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, and that does not include China. I'm like, wait, you must be kidding. And that is making him the biggest. So then at that moment, what I realized was there's 97% of people who don't know who Mr. Beast is. That's one. Who are not consuming entertainment content, probably.
Yep.
So who is serving those people?
Everybody. That means everybody needs to level up their game and get their 2%.
Yeah, because lately you hear people say, "Oh, the YouTube market is saturated. Oh, there's people to serve.
There's a lot of people to serve. A lot. I remember back in the days, like before YouTube, this whole YouTube thing, David Beckham was like one of the biggest stars in the world. In fact, he was the biggest star in the world. And I remember watching this documentary where he was riding on his motorcycle. He went to Brazil, and he had to make like 3 or 4 stops to get to Brazil. And everywhere he went, everyone knew who he was. And he was on this bike, and he went up to this village. And no one knew who he was.
You were shocked?
He was so shocked. He was like, wow, like no one knew. And he was just living a normal life in that village for like 2 days.
That must be crazy, you know?
Yeah, he was like, wow, there's people on this earth who still don't know who I am, you know? So sometimes we think that like, oh, there's so many. Let me tell you something. Even in Ghana, right, there isn't near enough people producing the right content. Not even near. We can count with our hands the people who are actually doing things at a certain level.
Yeah.
That's with our hands. You know, there's some countries where you can't, there's over 100 or 1,000 people who are really like doing their thing. So it just goes to show that there's so much opportunity and space in this market for everybody.
Yeah. And it's not even just the YouTube or the creator markets, even in business.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. There's not enough money out there to pay everybody. Like there's more money than there is to pay everyone.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. The problem is that we haven't got to that level where our money is coming to us because we haven't got there yet.
Yeah.
But as long as we are working towards it, I always believe that my money is somewhere.
Yeah.
If my money is waiting for me somewhere, I just need to work hard and go and get it and let that money come to me. But there's so much out there. There's so much
I was so blown away. Anytime somebody tells me, oh, I want to start there, I feel like there's a lot of people. For example, if we pick the podcast market right now, there's a lot of podcasts, but then you said something, you use the word right. There are not a lot of people who are doing it right.
Right, yeah.
You get it?
Yeah.
It all comes down to value.
Absolutely.
Because if we pick, let's say, 20 podcasts in Ghana now, how many of them are doing it?
Correctly.
Correctly. How many of them are doing it just for trend purposes? And maybe there's no value in what they are doing. So if you are going to get into something like that, then you need to figure out how you can stand out. Because then that's the key thing.
And there's so many different we even said that we're not going to use a mic. We're not going to have because
now it has
become played out. Yeah, we want it to be a conversation because there's so many different concepts. I think even now that haven't been explored. I think we're in Ghana, we're in our own market. Ghana is different. So many different things are happening. There's so many different concepts that just haven't been explored. So we, including ourselves, need to go out there and look at new ways of putting this content out there in the future.
Yeah.
You know?
We've spoken about mindsets, right? But then together with mindset, there always comes that sacrifice. Right? When I was sharing my story, there was sacrifice in there. I have to sacrifice sleep. Bro, when you sleep from 12 to 5, it's different if you sleep from 6 a.m. to 11. It doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't hit the same, right? And I feel like most people that want to always start something are scared to sacrifice something. Because even sacrifice in, let's say, if you want to start content creation, people being, what you're putting is too cringe. What you're putting out there, you should be ready.
I'm ready for that.
You're ready to sacrifice your emotions and all that. What has been like, some of the sacrifices you had to make on this journey?
I think for me now, I'm not the most disciplined person in the world, but I do know that I'm more disciplined than the average person.
Right.
Like, I know that. When I'm around people who are not disciplined, like, I can feel that my energy is different.
Yeah.
And so I think just by default, I'm up early every morning. And so now it doesn't even feel like it's a sacrifice. I'm just up early. I put my body through its paces every week.
Yep.
But I'm doing it for the future. I'm doing it for when I'm in my 40s, my 50s, my 60s. I want to be in excellent shape. But sacrifices for me now is like the hours that I put in to study rather than going out. I could be out every week. I could literally be in the club every week. I can be here every week. I'm mostly at home studying, researching, planning, thinking. I do have fun, but if it was out of 100% right now, 70, 80% is I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm studying, I'm working, and it doesn't feel like work for me right now, So I'm past the point of thinking of if I should work or not. I'm just doing it. So I don't know. It's a hard question to ask. But if you said to me, there's an opportunity and it aligns with my purpose, and you have to go to India for 6 months, and you have to go tomorrow, I'll go. I'll just call everybody I love and say I'll be back. No, seriously, I will say I'll be back. Because I'm ready. That's the level of sacrifice I'm willing to take to make this happen. 6 months is nothing. 6 months is absolutely nothing. By the time I come back, everything is still going to be the same in Ghana. Yeah. Right? I will go to India and I'll live in that village. If it means that...
Just going, okay.
No, if I have to go to a village in India for 6 months and it aligns with something and somebody says, tomorrow you have to go there, I am going.
Yeah, you're ready to do that.
I'm going. I'm not going to think about it twice. So that's the level of... I think it's more having the mindset that is ready to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think that's where you need to start off. Are you ready? Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of people who say they need jobs or say they want money or say they want to be successful. But if you tell them to wake up at 4 a.m. and meet you at Accra Mall, they will not come on time. They won't be there on time.
They won't. They'll come 9.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
so you're not ready.
That's so true. A lot of people are not hungry now.
You're not hungry. You're not ready.
Yeah. There's this popular quote that says, obsession will always be talent. And before I used to disagree, but then I've come to agree with it. Because I don't think I'm not talented. I can't do most things.
Listen, let me tell you, growing up, right, I played with footballers who were 10 times better than me.
Yeah.
More skillful than me, more naturally talented than me, but nobody outworked me.
Yeah.
And my career went further than theirs. Some of them never even played a professional game because of my mindset, because of my dedication and discipline. That was it.
Steph Curry is an example. He didn't have the athletic body when he started. He was smallish and everything. Right. But then he was obsessed. He was obsessed, ready to put in the work. And that, I feel like, can take you a very long way. Because for me, like this example, unscripted, I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. You're going to make it.
Yeah. If a video has to go out on Wednesday and it's in my power and everything, the video that didn't go out last week Wednesday,
it wasn't in your power.
It wasn't in my power. And the person... And it was in my power.
Sorry.
It wasn't my power. I'm willing. There's been times where I had to maybe edit overnight, do thumbnail, do everything, upload on a Wednesday, like everything on a Wednesday, because maybe we shot the weekend and things came up and I couldn't. that obsession, people don't see that. All they see is the video is ready. There was one time, sorry.
Go on. No, go on. What you said?
There was one time I had to upload a video and Vodafone was messing up. I took a car, went to a friend's place at Westland. His internet was messing up. I took a car and I went to East Legon Hills to upload it from there. And if you know Starlink, the upload speed was bad. So it took till like 7 p.m., 9 p.m. to finish uploading. I was there. I didn't plan to visit anybody. I was there till 9 p.m. to finish uploading. I released it. I went back to my house. Are you that obsessed? Somebody will be wondering, it's just a video. Just wait for the internet to come back in your house and upload it the next day. No, I've told people I'll upload on Wednesday. I need to meet that. So I feel like a lot of people are, and I've been talking about this with Mike, like there are some people you give them work, they'll say, I'll submit this at 7 p.m. They don't get it at 7. 6 p.m. they don't tell you the reason why they couldn't get it at 7.
We're not hungry enough. I'm telling you. I swear, we're not hungry enough. We are not hungry enough in this country. If somebody told me to walk to Labadi now, I'll walk.
And they're going to give you money.
Even if it's not money, even if it's just an opportunity or to meet someone that has something I need or something, I'll go. Like I will literally walk right now.
People are not ready for that. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
Like I'm ready.
People are not ready for that. And I was telling Mike something the other day too as well. You need to be able to, for example, in terms of working, right? Some people feel like, let's say this work is going to take me 7 hours to finish. You need to be able, in your years of working, streamline that to 3 hours and be able to do enough in 7 hours. Because then you're increasing your income. I know this is unrelated, but then it's something I've realized with certain creatives. And Eldad said this on my pod when he came. If you're a designer, for example, and you specialize in flyer designs, and you're able to design 10 flyers in a day, and another person will design 1 flyer in a day, compare. The one designing 10 is going to make a lot of money. Sometimes we make things look more difficult than they are.
Mindset, dedication, sacrifice,
obsession.
These are all things, obsession. These are all things that you need to be able to get to that next level. These are all the things that you need, the qualities, the characters that you need to make it happen. So when you see people going ahead, they are doing these things.
Yeah.
You need to apply it too.
Yeah. So yeah, for the people watching, for me, one thing like I said in the video I put out on execution, one thing I always tell people is it's going to work out, but you should be ready to stick to whatever dream it is or whatever you've set your mind on for long. Because I can't tell you it's going to work out tomorrow. I can't promise you it's going to work out the next 6 months. I can't promise you it's going to work out the next 1 year. So how long are you willing? There's this popular things that come out. Oh, Mr. Beast uploaded 400 videos before he went viral. Oprah Winfrey was rejected 7 times. You might be rejected 50 times. Everyone's story is not going to be the same. But then if you have that mindset of what I'm working on is going to work regardless of what happens, regardless of what comes my way, then you're not going to be moved. But then along that way, you always need to be smart and go back to the board and change things if need be. And I feel like people don't do that.
Absolutely. Do you know I'm smiling? Because the people at the back have started standing up. Like, in church when the pastor's talking too long and everyone starts standing up and they start playing some music. Yeah, everyone has, time is up. Time is up. But for sure.
So yeah, dreams, challenges, mindset, obsession will take you a long way. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you very much. That's all. Thank you very much.
See you guys next week maybe, or the following next week. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you took something valuable from this. If you did, please consider subscribing or following, depending on where you're watching or listening to this. That would mean so much to Julian and I, and this helps us continue creating. Thank you, and see you in the next one. Bye.